Hey everybody, my name is Pluto. Welcome to another awesome Extreme Hack Commentary Kaizo Super Kaizo experience. That's what we're calling these officially now. No, we are not. This is Super Mario Endless Journey. We're at the Wing Cap stage, Wings of Icarus, and this is red coins. As always, nearly everything I upload is a red coin star because that's the only hard stars that people make. So, this is the second stage that I completed in Chapter 3. This was one of the hardest levels that was, I think this might have been the hardest level that was in the old beta of the game, which only had 64 stars. However, since then, Course 12 has been added, which is quite a bit harder than this one. This level is pretty interesting, I think. It's a little bit more plain than Course 11, I think, not having too many super interesting parts. As you can see, there are 40 red coins, so it's quite the lengthy star, but it's not that long. It's clocking in at only 23 minutes, which is not the longest star in the world. It could definitely be quite a bit longer. But while we will be picking up reds quite quickly in the early parts, towards the end I think the pace slows down quite a bit, and you'll see that as we go on. So yeah, appreciate the fast reds while we go, because we are like less than a 20th into the video, but we have a fifth of the reds. So, the structure of this level is pretty linear. In fact, for most of the stars, you actually kind of follow like the same path over and over again, which is kind of a little bit annoying sometimes, because it's like, you know, I want some variety in gameplay, but you really can't win them all. Reds has you going down the different star branches. There's 4 major ones. There's one for each star, and then there's one for the cap switch, which actually isn't tied to any star at all. So we'll have to go through all of those, and the stage is not really super like planned out with that in mind, so there's going to be a little bit of backtracking and reclimb stuff, but it'll flow pretty okayly. I might be a bit devoid of stuff to talk about in the stage because I really don't think there's a ton of super interesting jumps to go over. Here we have one kind of tricky thing. This triple jump dive is actually quite tight. Gotta really precisely move around that wall. Difficulty-wise, the star was easier than Course 11 Reds, by like a little bit. The main thing that the star gets in difficulty is that it's very chokeable. The ending of the star is actually quite hard, and you'll see that when we get there. But these early stages are not easy by any means. These arches are quite tight. As a whole, this game has a lot of tight arches where you'll need to do like a super precise arch that needs to like come at the very top, and like sometimes needs good quarter frames. These ones aren't like the tightest in the game, but there are quite a few tricky ones throughout the game, which I'm not a big fan of it, because it's like, I guess it's just part of Yuka's design style at this point, because he includes them in a lot of his levels, but it can get a little annoying sometimes. Couple easy reds to pick up real quick. It's not too hard to remember all these reds despite there being 40, because a lot of them are very easy to spot, just like chilling. And just like that, we jump off here, and this is the part of the stage for the wing cap. Now, if you're not going for the wing cap switch, you can actually skip most of this. Not that it's worth it, it's actually harder than doing it intended, but it looked cool when I did it, so that was fun. But yeah, we got this little walking sequence. I actually kind of like this walking sequence that's coming up, because I think it has like a cool little visual element with like the spikes coming out of the wall, made of quicksand. I'm quite a fan of it. Get up there. And now we've got a bit of a tricky wall kick sequence. As you can see, those little blocks are quite small, so we'll have to make a pretty tight wall kick. I don't think I actually ever died to this though, despite it being kind of difficult, but to be fair, it's just 2 wall kicks, so it's not too hard to get a like good feel for how it is. If it was more wall kicks, that part would definitely be a pretty major one killer, but as is, it's just like a tricky section, but not really something super hard. The wing cap in this game is incredibly short. I believe it's only 20 seconds, so as long as a wing cap or a metal cap. So, yeah. As soon as I get up there, I just immediately jump back down, because it's just not worth it. In one of my attempts before this, like I think it was my best attempt that choked with 40 out of 40. I actually ended up having a reclimb in there that messed up because the wing cap is so short. So that's one of the major things that you need to watch out for in this level is not running out of wing cap. It can be really difficult to not do so. In a particular flying part that's pretty precise, but this part is like pretty casual. The tight wing cap is very obviously just to prevent cheese because there is just not a lot of time. This is just repeating the same jumps we've already seen, so just appreciate it. Slope section's a little bit tricky. It's very hard to not accidentally ledge grab, but once you get to these kicking slopes, it's not too bad. I do apologize if I am not speaking too much. This is why I play music in the background of these videos, because it's like when I commentate this and it's like I'm not talking, it's like, wow, this is really boring. But then I realize like, oh wait, there's gonna be music, so it's not just gonna be like dead silence while Mario just jumps across jumps. It's actually gonna be somewhat interesting. It's like, I really just don't have that much to say about this level. That slope jump's kind of precise. It's a little bit scary, it's very easy to miss it. Basic wall kicks. Like I said, I'll have more to say towards the end of the star. For now, I'm just like, doing stuff. My current progress in the game, because I got the star on December 31st, it's January 16th when I'm commentating this. This star, like, I actually have 5 out of 7 and course 12 now. Course 12 is fucking hard, by the way. Course 12 is actually one of the hardest levels I've ever played. It's not, like, super hard. I think it'd be, like, a tier 8 or something, but it's quite hard. It kind of reminds me of SNR C15, but the normal stars are even harder than that one. But Reds doesn't look as hard as C15 Reds and SNR. Whenever I see like slope sections like this, I always think it looks like a Tony Hawk like pro skater obstacle. I've never actually played the Tony Hawk games, but it just gives me that vibe of just like skateboarding. I don't know why. Maybe other people feel the same way. It's just something I've always felt whenever I look at stuff like this. This section has really good flow, by the way. I really like how it plays. It's really satisfying to like do like the little dives and like the wall kicks. It's one of those little things where it's just like it adds like a little bit of interesting stuff to gameplay, which makes this game more entertaining than like I say like SNR or something. Because even though I do like SNR, at the same time it's like I think the game was kind of slow paced in a lot of areas. There were definitely exceptions like the railgun star, but I have issues with that star. But stuff like that is just like, it just adds a little bit. It's ironic I talk about how nice the pace is when we go right into a curiosity section, but You can't win them all, right? At least it's a decent way into the level instead of at the very beginning, right? I don't mind that as much. We had these like little brackets. This homing imp seems pretty threatening, but by the time you actually reach this patch of quicksand, he's actually despawned. So the main thing you gotta worry about is triggering the Romame, but that's not too hard. Almost at the halfway mark. As you can see, the rate at which we're getting the red coins has slowed down quite a bit. You know, at the very beginning we were just breezing through them, but now it's like they're lining up kind of with the time left. Alright, so you come up here, you get to this part with the wing cap. This wing cap flight is actually pretty difficult, so I try to get a good setup into it by like speed kicking into the cap. It's pretty tough to do though. It's certainly a tight timer. As you can see, I kind of fuck it up there, have to redo it, but it doesn't take too long to get. This is the wing cap section that I said I messed up on that one attempt and it caused me to reclimb. Thankfully in this attempt I got it first try, so didn't have to worry about that, but it's definitely scary. You can see how tight it is. You need this wing cap actually to go all the way across. You can't lose it when you get inside the building because you need it to get some of the reds there. Which is quite tough to do. You can see, barely made it. This is not one of the red coins that you need the wing cap for, but it does make it easier. So, might as well get it. Kind of clever use of wing caps used to just extend the wing cap timer and not really do anything else. I always find stuff like that charming. You take a pit stop here to get the extra vantage cap. One of these to get the 30th red, which is just alone in this little corner. You can probably get it with like hyperspeed wall kicks, but that's not RTA viable, so let's just not do that. So there I unfortunately ran out of wing cap, which means that I need to do this jump, which is kind of precise. It's not like the hardest thing in the world, it's just like if you can get there with the wing cap, you would want to use the wing cap there. That's really all. It doesn't actually help you cheese anything. That wall, despite being semi-solid, is not vantage capable. Like, you can't go through it with the vantage cap. So, Doesn't really benefit you to do that. This warp takes you on the other side of the wall to kill any caps you might have, so you can't cheese the level. That's the point of that, if you're wondering. So now that we're past the warp, we're gonna kind of go into like the final segment of the level, which is the hard part. Yeah, we've gotten 33 reds just now, and all of this has just been building up to get to the hard part, which is not ideal, I think, for a level like this, but hey, whatever, man. You're allowed to make a level however you want. I'm not gonna stop you. I'm just gonna complain about it. So we have this wall kick sequence, which is pretty tricky. Lots of kind of difficult maneuvers here in precise moments. I think the part that I maybe struggled with the most here to get used to was this little maneuver, just because it's kind of hard to see and it's very awkward. That wall there does change your angle, which allows you to get over here. You've got to remember that you have to go out there. More QSOGs, everyone likes QSOGs. And now we actually have a pretty cool maneuver that I'm actually a big fan of. You kind of use this wall kick and then you go backwards and forwards. It's not nearly as hard as it looks, and it's actually really satisfying to pull off. That kind of stuff is really cool, and like I said, contributes to me liking this game quite a bit. The timing there can be a little bit awkward, so I opt for polyglyphing. Slide down there. Here it is. Now we're actually going to head back up the slope because I want to actually properly jump off this thing. This takes us to an upper section. And hey, this is kind of reminiscent of the beginning of the level where you had a red coin after every single jump. There's one red coin for each of these little structures on alternating sides. This is not too difficult of a section, but jumping from these structures to the next one can actually be a little bit precise, so you do need to watch out for that. Yeah, just wait for the fire and then just line it up. Not too bad. Just gotta line up one more. That will be red coin number 37. Inside right here, you have 99 coins, but it doesn't really matter because this level is a wing cap stage, so it doesn't have a 100 coin star. Of course, most of those red coins are from reds. This cork box section takes you up here, and then you have this kind of chokeable walking sequence. You have to do 5 pretty hard arches in a row. The number one thing is setting it up properly. I use the visual cue to get a good angle, and then once you have a good angle, you just have to do arches. Generally for these arches, you'll want to get good quarter frames, which basically means that the top of the arch, the ceiling of the arch, kind of clips you out, which makes it a lot easier to get the arch or a lot easier to get good distance because you basically got maximum height, and the game just instantly pushes you out. So it's a super optimal arch, and you basically want to do that 4 times in a row, and the 5th one's a little bit easier, so don't do that there. The first 3 are pretty basic, they're just the same thing over and over. The 4th and 5th ones will add another obstacle though. Got pretty lucky getting this quickly. If you look closely, you can already see how the 4th and 5th ones are harder. And there it's a little bit more obvious. These 4th and 5th ones are actually double arches. Of course, you have a slight angle, which actually makes this even harder. I opt to, whenever I have arches like these, go on the side that Mario is facing away from, because it tends to make it a little bit safer. But, of course, that does make the arch quite difficult. Again, I got very lucky with quarter frames this time. And here I do the same thing. Sometimes I try to line these up with the front cam just to make the visual cue a little bit more obvious for when I'm in an arch. It can be a little bit awkward. Can't see the ceiling. And the red coin's right there. And now we can jump down. The 40th coin is resting right there. That's our safety coin. And as you can see, the star spawns all the way up there. If you recognize that structure in a glimpse, that's the sequence that we already did. With that being said, there's not really too much to say about the star. We are coming up on the part where I lost that attempt. I got 40 out of 40 reds, and it's this white wall kick sequence. It's pretty like choreographed in the sense that like there's like a very consistent way to do it, but if you get scared like I did, it's very easy to mess up. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say for the star. I know this was a kind of lackluster commentary, but to be honest, this star isn't really that interesting. It's fun, I do like it, but I really don't think there's too much to say about it. It's just very hard and very chokeable. Hope you guys enjoyed the video regardless, and hopefully the next video on C12 will be a lot more interesting. I'll see you guys then. Enjoy the rest. Bye. Wall jump scare. Ah, yikes, dude. Okay, that first aim made that a lot more comfortable. That's also an insanely fucking hard first to get. Jesus Christ. Remind me to practice that when the attempt's over. Back on this one. Okay. Good. Oh jeez, bro. Well, that's a common firsty L. Okay, please nothing that I forgot about. No surprises, please. Whoa! Okay, this is the last wall kick sequence. I almost messed that one up. I think this is the last one. Please! Oh my god, get it! Get the star! Okay. Oh my god, what a chokeable fucking nightmare. Yes!